Today we start with mechanical engineering most important questions part 2. In single point, cutting tool where is maximum wear. Single point cutting tool tip at this point maximum wear. In single point cutting tool, the maximum wear at a some distance from the tip of the single point cutting tool at this point due to maximum temperature. After the cutting the chip, when the slide at this point the maximum temperature, due to the maximum temperature at this point maximum wear rate. Rotometer. In rotometer, spiral groove used inside the rotometer. Here is the spiral groove used. Due to the spiral groove, the rotation of the rotometer. In rotometer, tube tapered in the downward direction, and tube tapered in downward direction. At the top of the rotometer, the diameter is maximum, and at the end of the rotometer, the diameter is minimum. And rotometer is rotates and is commonly used to measure discharge of the fluid. Used for measuring discharge of the fluid, and spiral groove used, and due to spiral groove rotation of the rotometer, and tube tapered towards the downward direction. screw jack efficiency is always less than 50%, always less than 50%. Alpha is the angle of inclination, angle of inclination. Screw jack. Phi is the angle of friction, is the angle of friction. In the screw jack, always alpha is less than phi. Angle of inclination always less than the angle of friction. So due to this, the efficiency of the screw jack always less than 50%. If the angle of alpha more than phi, then the screw jack automatically rotates, and so it's not useful for the purpose of jack. So note at this point, angle of inclination is always less than the angle of friction. Efficiency of screw jack is less than 50%. Wire gauge used for the measuring wire diameter, strip thickness, wire gauge. For example, wire gauge number is 40, thickness assuming 10 mm, and when the number is 20, the thickness is assuming 15 mm. Wire gauge number is inversely, when the wire gauge number is decrease, the thickness of increase. It is reciprocal. When the number is increased, the thickness is decreased. Wire gauge is used for the measuring wire diameter and the thickness of the strips. One mm is equal to 1000 micron. What is loose fit? When the clearance between two matting surfaces more than 70 micron. When the clearance between two matting surfaces is more than 70 micron, then it is the loose fit. In the tight fit, the clearance between the two matting surfaces is 20 micron or more than 20 micron. In interference fit, clearance between two matting surfaces is less than 20 micron. Per mm is equal to 1000 micron loose fit. When the clearance between two matting surfaces more than 70 or more than 70 micron. In the tight fit, when the clearance between two matting surfaces is 20 micron or more than 20 micron. In the interference fit, when the clearance between the two matting surfaces is less than 20 micron. Plaster molding casting is used for the commonly brass products. Plaster molding casting commonly used for the brass products. In single point cutting tool, rake angle controls the chip formation. In single point cutting tool, rake angle controls the chip formation. In a drill, angle of the cutting edges is approximately 118 degree. The angle increases from the center to periphery. Center to periphery, angle increases in the drill. In a drill, the angle of the cutting edge is 118 degree. and center to periphery angle increases in the drill. Filler gauge is used for to check small clearance to check small clearance between two matching surfaces. Filler gauge is used for to check small clearance between two matching surfaces. For example, in a spark plug, the small clearance is checked by the filler gauge. The clearance between the spark plug in electrode is 0.07 mm, commonly 70 micron. It is checked by the filler gauge, and all other many examples. The magnification of the mechanical comparator. The magnification of the mechanical comparator is varied between 250 to 1000. Magnification in the mechanical comparator varies between the 250 to 1000. The wavelength of the profile or optical project is 0.5 micrometer. Monochromatic light is used the wavelength of the profile or optical project is 0.5 micrometer. Monochromatic light used in the profile or optical project. In adiabatic process, the enthalpy and van der Waals temperature remains constant. Temperature remains constant. In the adiabatic process, the enthalpy and van der Waals temperature remains constant. So that's all.